So thank you so much for having me on your stage. I don't know if you guys can tell by my haircut, but I'm going through a quarter-life crisis. Most people think I'm going to say gay. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Depends on how I feel. Yeah, I am. 2016 was a treat. A real treat. I really want to tell you guys about how great my 2016 was and my 2017 is. But in order to do that, I'm going to need your help, all right? So whenever you see the whoosh, finger guns, that's your excuse to kind of lose it like it's the best news you've ever heard, right? So let's practice. Perfect. All right, so first, I lost my day job. Then, my live-in boyfriend of almost 3 years told me he couldn't be my boyfriend anymore. It was fine, though. I didn't have to move because he loved me like a roommate. Yes! Slaying it. You know, I was real sad. I lost my job, and I go home, and he's like, you give me anxiety. I feel like you want to get married, and I just can't get married. And I just don't know why you would think that, right? Fair enough. Marriage is scary. Why would I think that? Maybe, just maybe, just hear me out. It was when he signed me up for and then took me to a Judaism conversion class. But we all know it was my period. I want to get married. So needless to say, it's been a weird year. And I was thinking about it the other day while I was cutting off my own hair in my bathroom. I was like, why am I like this? What happened? You know, I had such a promising childhood. I did. I was in a Pizza Hut commercial at the age of 3. Never aired. I don't know if you recognize or not. That's me. I played Pocahontas at a school that was 99% Hispanic. And I still got picked to play Pocahontas. I don't know. They said I seemed dedicated. I don't know. But then I started to think about parts of my childhood that might have affected me and maybe I just blocked out a little bit. For example, when I was a child, my mom had these things she called Date with Dave. And that basically meant that while David Letterman was on, we weren't allowed to bother her because she was watching David Letterman. So for 11 years, I thought David Letterman was my mother's boyfriend. And that he was just too famous to be a father figure. For 11 years. I thought she just missed him a lot. When I was 14, I thought that I wanted to be CSI, crime scene investigator. So, for a whole year, I carried around an actual lab kit, and I wore rubber gloves to school every day, and I would use a tweezer to collect evidence and keep them in bags. I would take actual caution tape and rope off parts of the cafeteria during lunch, because you couldn't go there, because I was solving a crime. And it wasn't until the next year that I realized I wanted to be an actor on the show CSI, and that I didn't actually like science. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? I don't know. So then when I was 16, I decided that I wanted to be famous doing improv, as we all do. I was like, I'm going to be the best improver ever. So, and I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live, which I'm sure 90% of you are here because you also wanted to be an improviser on Saturday Night Live. Just a guess, just a wild guess, because of the beanies and the number of shaved heads I see. So, I moved up here when I was in 11th grade. I'd been talking about doing this for years, and so finally when I was in 11th grade, my mom, who had since broken up with David Letterman, decided that she was going to support my dream and she was going to move here and help me start training at Second City and get involved in improv, which I think is really cool. And the only catch was that I had to work. I had to keep my high school job, so I couldn't really do a lot of social stuff on the weekends. She was like, great, we're gonna do this, but 1, you gotta get good grades, 2, you gotta work, and 3, you gotta go to college regardless of what happens, which I think is a pretty cool deal. Can we just give her a round of applause? No matter how messed up things get, no matter how many times you cut your own hair in your bathroom because it seemed like a good idea at the time, no matter what you try and fail at, I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, don't be fooled by people who look cooler than you on Facebook, because here's what happens. All these people look way more successful than you, when in reality the only difference is they're better at picking what to post than you. Everybody fails 100 times a day. Some people just are a little bit smarter about what they put out there for the public to see. Yeah, and I guess, the moral of this story, what I want to toast to, is that everybody goes through periods in their life where they're really depressed, where they lose their job, they lose the love of their life, they lose where they're going, they have no idea what to do next. Maybe you lose your money, maybe who knows what you're losing, but you're not losing yourself. And as cheesy as that sounds, you are all you have in that moment. And if you let yourself go, and if you stop being honest about who you are and there for yourself, you're only going to face more problems. So I would like to toast to us, to you, to life, I don't know, and just to the future. Whatever happens here, whatever happens in DC, whatever happens all over the world, let's just give a toast to being alive to see all of it. So.